The next type of data we're going to talk about is ordinal data because we run into, or even though we don't use it in statistics and in research too much, we do run into it all the time out in the real world. And so with ordinal data, essentially what it is it comes from a scale in which categories can be assigned in a clear order. So lots of times you'll see it in terms of stars or thumbs up or something like that. So restaurants and hotels are commonly assigned a star rating. If you're staying at a five-star hotel and eating at a three-star restaurant, you're doing pretty good. On the other hand, a one-star restaurant isn't considered to be particularly special. It just serves food, hopefully edible food, non-poisonous food. A one-star hotel will provide a bed, but don't expect much more than that. And so you can make some judgments about hotels and restaurants and things like that by the number of stars that they have, knowing what the top rating is and what the bottom rating is. Now, ordinal data's basically these categories are assigned in a clear order. It's a rank preference. And so unlike nominal data in which a 1 and a 2, there's no difference between it. It's just kind of a label that you give somebody. With ordinal data, you actually have these rank preferences. One category is better than another. So 4 is better than a 2. A 3 is better than a 1. A 4 is better than a 3. And so you have this sort of ranking system in which it actually means something to have larger amounts or bigger numbers or stars or whatever the case it is. Now, one of the things about it, though, is that even though ordinal data can reflect an ordering of preference from lowest to highest or, rankings of particular things, it doesn't imply that one category differs by an equal amount from other categories. So we have like 4 stars, which is more than 3 stars, which is more than 2 stars, which is more than 1 star. That's sort of the ranking. You've got a lowest to a highest or a highest to the lowest. But, when you think about it, so you look at a 4-star versus a 2-star. Okay, we know that 3 stars is worse than a 4-star, but what about 2 and 4? That's a pretty big jump? Or it's the same amount as like a 3-star restaurant to a 1-star restaurant. Are those equivalent? So if you're at a 4-star restaurant and then you're down to a 2-star restaurant, well, you've dropped quite a bit, but is that the same amount of drop as if you're at a 3-star restaurant, which is decent, down to a 1-star restaurant, which might be actually worse. So the difference between these might not be as much as the difference between that. And so even though you have numerical sort of ordering here, and they seem to be numerically equal, there seems to be, well, there's a 2 and there's a 3 and there's a 4 and there's just one down for each of those. They are not truly equal with ordinal data. It's a ranking system. And so how do you sort of wrap your head around it? Well, birth order is a good example of ordinal data. Ordinal data does provide you with some information about the relative ranking or position of different things, but that's about it. You've got the first person born and the second person born and the third person born, but there might be 2 years of difference between the first and the second and 6 by the third person, and so there's a much bigger difference between the two. And so really all that it tells you is there's this many choices or options or outcomes, and they're ordered in terms of, in this case, first, second, third, and fourth. Now, this fact of data can actually be, I don't know, taken advantage of by those that are unscrupulous. And so you can kind of lie. Actually, we're going to talk a little bit about how sometimes people lie with numbers and lie with graphs and things like that. And you can lie with ordinal data. I don't want you to do it, but at least maybe this will help you to understand it. Now, the example I'm going to use is pretty geeky, all right, and it involves with a video game that I play that's called Ingress. And Ingress it's an augmented reality game. You have to play on it on your phone, and you play out in the real world, and it's basically just a giant capture the flag sort of a game. And there's 2 teams. There's Enlightened, and then there's the Resistance. But that isn't, and I'm enlightened, and so if you ever decide to go play the game, you have to be enlightened because you're going to school, and that's what enlightenment is all about. But anyhow, the story goes, it's occasionally, it's really a social sort of game, and you interact with people on Google Plus and other things like that. You have team members. One of the reasons that makes it so social is because you have to play in the real world, which means you often run into other players and you make friends and stuff like that. Well, occasionally in these groups, they promote contests. And so they had a contest. I can't remember what it was, if it was like for the most portals captured or the most, hits or something like that. And so it was like sent out to the whole group, and it's like, here, put your stats, and then after a week, we'll see who actually wins the stats. I'm like, okay, that sounds like fun. I'll do that. I'm playing anyway. I'll just play harder. And so guess what? I actually won. This was the prize. It was a coffee mug because I won. I was in the Actually, so they said that you came in second place. I'm like, really? Really? I came in second place. That's amazing because I know how many people are actually playing this game. There was like probably over 100 people in the group. I'm like, yay! So I can actually say that I won second place in this. And, you could basically say that, and then there's, other people, they were, like one of the other people I was thinking of, I actually knew her game name, which was Corsita. Corsita actually came in second to last, even though she's a better player than I am. I came in second and she came in second to last. Actually, wait, not exactly second to last, next to last, which that distinction makes a difference. All right. And so, okay, why does that matter? Well, I found out later there was only two of us that entered the contest. And so I lost because there were only two of us, and Corsita actually won. And so I can actually say, well, I got second place, but she actually finished next to last. Well, no, she actually finished above me. So essentially, I can lie and make it sound like I did better in that case without telling people that there were only two people in the race. And so you can sort of like skew the information and lie with the information. Everything I said was absolutely true. But, well, actually, even if I said she came second to last, that means that she wasn't last. I was last. But nobody would know that unless I sort of, you can see the other side of this. Second place, with that's my agent name, my game name. And so essentially, she got first, I got last, but I can always say I came in second. And nobody's going to know, other than you guys now, that this wasn't as big a deal as I actually thought it was at the time. I'm still pretty happy with that cup, though.